Sir, can we start?
Yes, yes,
Yes, we can start. Let them join. And most of us are already watching on YouTube now.
I see. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So, welcome back to session 2 of this program. This is the most difficult session because it is after lunch. Therefore, normally the voice modulation, the tone of the presenter, and the beautiful breeze outside, and the food in our palate will give you a nice dose of relaxation. I hope I don't do that with this session. No, but normally that's what happens in class, especially with the afternoon sessions, and the session between 2 to 3. That's the most difficult session. After 3, everything is fine. We are into tea time and everything is fine. But 2 to 3 is always going to be very difficult. Okay, let's get bang on to what we were doing. So in the first session, we were discussing about the general value chain and the role of the distribution networks. We saw about logistics, third-party logistics, integrated logistics system. We also discussed about the conflict and the power dynamics that happens, warehousing, inventory management, inland container depots, ICDs. We talked about quite a lot of things, from agriculture supply chain to pharmaceutical supply chain, and to even textile supply chains. Okay, now in this session, it is going to be predominantly how to conduct research into the area of supply chain. Now, from the standard supply chain, I would like to take your attention to another supply chain that is running parallelly. This is called as the secondary supply chain, and also the reverse supply chain. The forward supply chain, as we all know, is starting from the supplier, then the manufacturer, and goes on through the distribution network to the dealers, distributors, retailers, and to the end consumer. Reverse supply chain comes back from there. If suppose customers have complaints, if customers have complaints and they want to return the product, what happens to the product? How the product comes back in the supply chain right up to the manufacturer? What do they do with this product, and so on? There is also another supply chain that we call as the secondary supply chain. What happens to the products that during manufacturing, if there are defects in the products, what happens to that? Where does that product end up in? So this is the focus of our discussion now. And I would like to take this session from a research angle. How do we conduct a research on this? To do this, let me share with you a paper that I wrote along with my scholar recently, and it has been accepted for publication in a journal in Romania. All right. It's going to be published in the month of March. It is accepted for publication in the month of March. So I will just share with you 2 papers, both in the area of supply chain, reverse supply chain, secondary supply chain, and the markets. Okay, so that's how we are going to go about this. Okay, hold on. Let me take the paper and flash it on the screen for you. Right. Right. Okay. So here we are. I hope all of you can see. So this is the research paper. I hope, can you see, all of you? Yes. Can you see?
Yes, sir, we
Are you
can
able
see.
to see the screen? We are able to see
Yes,
the paper?
yes,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, I see it, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the title of the paper. This paper, this is a kind of a conceptual paper. I hope you know what is a conceptual paper. A conceptual paper deals with a concept that you end up proposing hypothesis, and you end up conceptualizing a model. You come up to the level of conceptualizing a model and you end your paper there. Okay, so many of the international publications, they look for these conceptual papers. Indians, we are into the old fashioned lot of statistics. We like a lot of statistics, analytics. So we tend to use as much statistics as possible. Now I have seen many scholars struggling with their guides because the guides tell them to do n number of statistics. Statistics is just to prove a theory, but the theory is more important than the statistics. That is what we need to understand in research. So research is about going closer to a particular concept. Nobody has ever understood any concept entirely. So research is actually to go closer and closer and closer to the concept. That is why we do literature reviews. Literature is a continuity of the progression of the concept over a span of years. Okay, maybe the concept 10 years ago has developed into something else now. Now if you notice, there is a research called as timeline research. Timeline research means, see, over a period of time the concept tends to change. For example, there's I used to teach advertising, then it became into integrated marketing communication. What this concept will evolve into the next 5 years, I don't know. Now everybody's talking about analytics. Everywhere you go, people are talking about marketing analytics, financial analytics. Yeah, if you even go to IIM, there is a course fellowship program on analytics. It's a hot word, buzzword, especially with the Indian students today. Everybody wants to do analytics, but how long analytics will be there in the field? Another 3 years, 5 years? If you take another 5 years back down the line, back 5 years, everybody is talking about multiple regression. Any paper it comes up will have multiple regression, SEM modeling, and so on. Okay, so over a period of time, this is called timeline of research. Every 5 years or every decade, a concept changes or evolves. Same is the case with supply chain. Many concepts in supply chain tend to change over time. That is why we have to do research, right? Research gets us closer to the concept. Okay, let's look at this conceptual paper. Okay, this is a conceptual, purely conceptual paper. Determinants of supply chain effectiveness during economic slowdown. As you all know, India is in a state of economic slowdown. Our GDP has gone down to -23 also. No production at all. Last 7 months, crash. you know the story better than me. You have been watching news. You know what is there, the condition. You saw the migrant crisis happening in India. We saw companies closing down everywhere. Nobody was able to pay their employees and so on. There is no production at all in the country. No production at all. So at this time of economic slowdown, when the entire country is slowing down in terms of the economy, no production at all, how are the textile clusters garment clusters in various areas like Tirupur and other places surviving. So this is the thought that we had when we went on to make this paper. So we started this paper right back in the end of I would say, yeah, somewhere in the month of January 2020 we started, and it went through a lot of reviews. It went to a lot of reviews outside India, and finally it got accepted for publication in the month of June. Yeah, and it will get published only in the month of March next year. Okay, that's because this is an international paper, international journal. Therefore, it takes quite a long time. Okay, right. So this is the paper. During economic slowdown, how does the supply chain of these textile industries survive? So this is how. So the first part of this paper talks about the introduction, growth of the Indian economy over the last 3-4 decades, how it has grown, how it has crossed over several recessions and economic conditions, and where it is now. Okay, I'll just go through the paper. You can see as I go through, and I'll keep on explaining certain parts. Okay, then the contribution of the textile industry to the growth of the Indian economy. As you all know, India is known for its textiles, especially saris and all these things, Kanchipuram saris. Where have all these gone? I have recently been to Kanchipuram, and Kanchipuram saris, silk saris, famous for its Kanchipuram saris. There, the art is itself dying. Nobody wants to buy any more Kanchipuram saris anymore. Wedding functions, lavish Indian wedding functions are no more. They don't want to, women don't want to wear any Kanchipuram saris anymore. Silk saris are losing its craze and demand. But the industry is really suffering. Recently, I was in Kanchipuram. I found that Kanchipuram has a lot of cooperative societies. And these silk saris are manufactured in small houses. Families, individual families manufacture these silk saris for less than 1,500 rupees. They come to these cooperatives, very pathetic sight. They come to these cooperatives, they give their these silk saris to these cooperatives. It can be nalli silks or any silks. They give it to the cooperative societies, and the family, that poor family which manufactured these silk saris, they stand outside these cooperative societies in days, sometimes even months, to get their payment. Because only when the cooperative society sells the saris, they will get payment, and the payment will be made to these families who are manufacturing. So every day they come to these cooperative societies to see whether the product that they have manufactured has been sold or not. So this happens in a regular basis in Kanjipuram. But today, because of the economic condition, economic slowdown, and all these things, the manufacturing almost has come to a halt. Now today, designer saris, designer textiles have taken prominence over the traditional Kanjipuram silk saris. So this is the same case with the Tirupur also. So here we are discussing about how the textile industry has grown in the Indian economy over the last 3-4 decades. And we had some discussion here. This paper also discusses about the economic slowdown, recession, and in Europe, recession in Japan, right? So this is a conceptual paper. I want you to understand completely on the concept. They normally, when journals normally look for a flow of the paper, one after the flow, it should not be distorted. Okay, there should be a flow. So the economic condition, I'm describing the economic condition here, and here we see the recession driving variables, the GDP growth rate during the corresponding years, and these are some of the variables, important variables which are driving a recession, right? So normally when you study any topic, when you do research into any topic, the most important thing you need to look into is the variables that are around the topic. Try to get as many variables as possible which are impacting on the concept. These variables can be antecedents of the topic, or it could be the outcome of the topic. So always you look for variables. So that is what I'm trying to bring here into context. The variables that are leading to the recession. So I have put the GDP growth rate of India from 1951 to 2014, unemployment rate, the unemployment statistics here, and the textile industry today in the slowdown situation. Okay, how the textile industry is slowing down slowly. I told you in the first session that many of the textile manufacturers have moved to Bangladesh and Vietnam, and even to Sri Lanka. Okay, such a small country, and they have moved there. So what is leading to this? Okay, significance of the effective supply chain in garment industry. Okay, I've discussed about the problem. Okay, this is the statement of the problem. Discuss about the problem, how the business is doing, what are the raw material constraints, the costs are increasing, raw material is difficult to get. The countries like China, which were supplying raw materials to many of the manufacturers in Tirupur, many of the products are coming from China. We are solely, and we might say a lot of things in terms of the politics of it. In the political scenario, yes, there is a lot of resistance to Chinese commodities, but still, even till yesterday, I was talking to a few manufacturers, and they said, no, we are unable to manufacture because many of our raw materials come from China. Many of the machine component parts also come from China. The spindles and the looms, that they're all coming from China. What can we do? Mm. So this is the condition the government cluster is going through, and I've given the statement of the problem. I've gone through the literature to give it the narrow focus. Always when you do literature study, you tend to connect with the previous studies. You narrow down, you come to your focus to your variables, right? And you build your theory. The theory is the most important part of the research. The logical reasoning and the theory is the most important part of your research. Without logical reasoning and theory building, your research is absolutely useless. No matter how many tools you use is not important. It's about the theory that you build. Hmm? See, for example, I mean, this since it is research, I'm slightly deviating from the area of supply chain. Recently, I was doing research, environmental research, because we are having a course called as MBA in Waste Management, approved by AICTE and Anna University. MBA in Waste Management, we were discussing on a research topic where recently in Amazon forest, rainforest, in certain areas of Amazon rainforest, there are there is a soil called as a therapy. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me, everybody? Hello, can you
Yes,
hear
sir, we
me?
can hear. Yes, sir, we can
Yeah,
hear.
there was a slight
Slight
network
interruption. Yes.
breakage. Yeah, interruption. Okay, because I've connected through my mobile phone because I'm in the house, so there is somebody. If somebody calls, there's a breakage. Okay, there is a soil in the Amazon rainforest which is black in color. It's called as therapeutic soil. And now the question is, how did the soil form there in Amazon rainforest? How did it? Was it man-made? Was it due to volcano? How is the soil all around the place? It is clayey soil. It is brown in color, except for that area which is blackish in color. Now we had to go to the literature and see literature, and one literature gives us a fact that, see, okay, it gives us a fact that somebody has tested the soil 10 years back, and they found small, pottery shreds on the soil. Okay, pottery shreds. Then I was going through some other literature, and in that same area, somebody had done research earlier, 5 years ago, and that research says that that person in that soil who tested the soil found animal droppings, domesticated animal droppings in that soil. So I have now two facts with me. Two facts. Which are the facts? One fact is saying that there were pottery shreds. The other fact is saying that there were animal droppings. Based on these two facts, or shall I say, premise statements. Premise means fact statements. Based on these two fact statements, I'm going to deduce something. What am I going to assume now? Based on these two fact statements, anybody? Based on these two fact, I gave you two fact statements. One fact statement says that the soil contains pottery shreds, pottery pieces. The other fact statement says that the soil, that black soil, contains animal droppings. So based on this fact statement, what can I assume?
It may
Anybody?
be the mixture of both components.
Okay. Why is that? Because we started the entire research by saying that why is the soil black in color? So we started with the basic question, why is the soil black in color? Was it, then the next question was it caused by volcano? Volcanic soils are black in color. Was it caused by man-made? Was it natural? Was it man-made? By looking at these evidences, these facts, now I come to assume that, okay, if there are droppings of domesticated animals in the soil, and if there are pottery shreds in that soil, which means that human settlements would have been in there. If human settlements would have been there, then my assumption is, then my conjecture statement is that this black soil was caused by human settlements. It's a conjecture statement. It's not a hypothesis. It's an assumption, a proposition statement. Now it becomes an hypothesis if mathematically stated. Are we clear with that? Okay, a conjecture statement becomes a hypothesis statement if the statement is made mathematically. Okay, with that background, let me dive again into the paper that we are working on. Okay, let me go here, research methodology. Research methodology. So this was a kind of a conceptual paper. We tried to build a model. We tried to build a conceptual model, right? So we landed up, we started to study certain cases. The first case we took was in the paper was a case of Japan. How Japan was able to, after the Cold War era, how Japan was able to spring up to become a very good economy, especially after the Hiroshima, Nagasaki atomic bomb. How Japan developed into a very, very powerful nation, and how its supply chains were the prominent feature in developing the entire economy. Okay. Then we went into Vietnam. We studied the case of, this is case 2, how in 20 years time after the World War, I mean after the American War, which took place in Vietnam, where about 33,000 American troops were killed with Khmer Rouge forces in Cambodia and Vietnam, how Vietnam today has grown 300% in terms of its economy, and why all the companies are running to Vietnam, especially textile clusters. So we took that case. Then we took the case of Cambodia. Then based on all these cases, we tried to understand the supply chain models that these people were using. See, this is one kind of supply chain model that we have proposed, we have taken. We've also taken another supply chain model. So few supply chain models were considered in this study. Based on the supply chain models and the literature, these are some of the supply chain models that you're seeing now. The integrated framework of understanding firm level dynamics during recession. These are supply chain models in all these economies that were followed during recession time. Okay, and we had taken this, and we have identified certain key variables. We call this as constructs. I will deal with that because we are going to do certain, we're going to use a software to build a model, and we will work out don't worry, we will work out a problem. Okay, so this is a construct here, and these are some of the important variables we have found in terms of the supply chain, which these textile clusters garment industry was following during recession period. So this is shared goal setting among the supply chain nodes, collaborative planning. These are some of the very important variables that make supply chain function effectively during recession period, during economic recession or economic slowdown period. These variables have come from literature and studying of the model, studying of the case. We have identified these important variables. Okay, risk and reward sharing, information sharing, supply chain integration, supply chain demand and supply challenges, supply chain cost. And these are all, you can see there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 variables that we have identified. Once we have identified the variables, we have now proposed, based on logical reasoning, we have proposed the hypothesis here. So the hypothesis 1 says goal setting process in surviving supply chain is more clearer and more accurate than other supply chains. Okay, the existing companies, existing textile manufacturing units, which are surviving during economic slowdown, tend to have a more clearer goal setting process, right? So this we arrived at after deductive reasoning. I told you premise statements, always you take like this, you take 3. Okay, what I will do is I'll show you fact, rule, and conclusion. Premise, rule, conclusion. 3 things you have to take. You might know the fact, premise, you might know the rule, then based on the fact and the rule, you deduce. Deduction. This is called as deductive reasoning. There is inductive reasoning and abductive reasoning. 3 types of reasoning that you use to build your theory. And here in this paper, I have used deductive reasoning to arrive at this hypothesis here. Okay, so then collaboration is more efficient and robust in surviving supply chains than other supply chains. Okay, so these are some of the hypotheses that I have come up. Hypothesis 3, 4, there are about 11 hypotheses or so. Okay, so which leads us to finally the conceptual model. So this is the conceptual model that we have arrived at. So you can look at the conceptual model. So goal setting process, collaborative planning, risk and reward sharing, information sharing, supply chain integration, supply chain cost. All this is leading to supply chain effectiveness. Okay, I'm giving you 2 words now, the word efficiency and the word effectiveness. Efficiency is internal to the organization. Effectiveness is external to the organization. Any firm, if your internal processes are very good, then you say you are efficient. Your departments are functioning efficiently. You are able to manage your resources efficiently inside the organization. Anything that happens outside, between, let's say, one firm and another firm in the supply chain, then that is called as effectiveness. So here, all these processes here are leading to supply chain effectiveness. Okay, right. So this is the proposed model. And so we end up at the proposed model. Then finally, you give your conclusion and give your reference. And that's it. This is the paper. This paper is a conceptual paper. So this paper has already been accepted for publication, and it's going to be published. Let me stop share here and share with you another paper before I go into the software. Okay, the second paper, again, yeah, this one is almost in the verge of getting published, not yet. It's gone for review. 2 reviews have already been over. Okay, the name, can you see, all of you, the second paper?
So a little bit zoom is needed, sir.
Zoom is needed. Okay,
Yes.
now okay, is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Because more than this, I think you will not be able to see, I think. Okay, so we'll go with this. So reverse supply chain, this is the second paper I wanted. This one is not a conceptual paper. This is an empirical paper where data has been gathered, tested. Okay, the first paper was a conceptual paper. This paper is an empirical paper. Empirical testing has been done on the model. So this one deals with what we call as reverse supply chain and secondary markets. Reverse supply chain as a strategic driver for growth of the secondary markets in the retail garment business, both in the garment business. So, and this paper, this one is on the verge. This one is going to be published in Czechoslovakia. It's not Czechoslovakia, it's Czech Republic. Previously, it was called as Czechoslovakia. Okay, because Slovakia went different and Czech Republic became different. This is going to be published there. And yeah, this paper talks about the reverse supply chain. Okay, let me give you a small background to this paper. See, in places like Tirupur, there is a place called Kadarpet in Tirupur. I don't know how many of you are from Tirupur. In Tamil Nadu, there is a place called Kadarpet. It is just opposite to the railway station of Tirupur. Okay, if you go to this place in Tirupur, you will only find secondary markets for garments. You will get all branded stuff in the secondary market. You want an Alan Solly shirt, you want a Van Hussein shirt, you want a Blackberry pant, you will find it there. 350 rupees, you will get a Puma t-shirt. In the primary market, in the primary supply chain, when the product comes from the manufacturer to the end retailer, the cost of the product is very costly. For example, a Puma t-shirt might cost you about 2,000 rupees. A Crocodile Lacoste will cost you about 2,000 rupees. Alan Solly shirts, Van Hussein is 2,700, and Peter England is, you will get it for 1,400, and so on. But in the secondary supply chain markets, these markets, all the products which are either having minute defects, okay, or in their, see, normally the goods when they are packed, and they are weighed, 10 kgs or 15 kgs, when they're weighed, when it's weighed, if there is a small difference in the weight, the entire lot will be rejected. Or in manufacturing, when the garment is having minute defects, maybe a button loose, or maybe the logos printed upside down, all these products tend to be rejected during manufacturing. Okay, and they go to a reprocessing center. In the reprocessing center, these products are reprocessed and with the help of agents sold to wholesalers and dealers, who in turn sell it to retailers in the secondary market. So this place, Tirupur, in Kadarpet, you have a lot of, it's a household business where all these small, in all these houses, they collect like these products, they reprocess it, they make minute modifications and sell it to the retailers. The entire place of Kadarpet, if you go around, you will find all brands. Even today, if you go, you will find all secondary market brands. They tend to come to the, they also tend to go to the street markets. This supply chain not only takes it to the secondary market, but also takes it to the street market. It's like the Sunday market. I remember those days with Sabri, we used to go in Kodaikanal, we had a Sunday market. Street market. It comes to the street market. You will find all leather jackets and everything in the street market. So this is another supply chain that runs parallelly to the primary supply chain. So that was the focus of our study, and we had used certain scholars. I had sent them to Tirupur. I had sent another group to Bargur. Bargur is a place near Jolarpet, near Krishnagiri, on the border with the Bangalore. This is another place where you'll get secondary market for cloth, for garments. Okay, so this is the paper. So how secondary markets are driven. So this is an abstract here. These are I've given an introduction as usual. Okay, introduction goes on. Just hold on. So we have arrived at a certain hypothesis. Here we are. So I've listed out 5 hypotheses. Better supply chain practices lead to better flow efficiency. In the morning session, I told you that if you take any supply chain, the most important part of any supply chain, the 3 important components, which is the flow of material, flow of information, and flow of one more thing. What is that? Money. Flow of information flow, money flow, material flow. So if these 3 things can flow without hassle in the supply chain, then there is no problem at all. You will find that the supply chain is functioning efficiently. But normally these things don't flow like that. There are 2 variables that we tend to find out. One is called as flow velocity. The other one is flow efficiency. See, between the nodes of the supply chain, between the firms in the supply chain, if the flow is very fast, if the velocity is very fast, that is, materials come at a very fast pace from the manufacturer to the stockist, from the stockist to the dealer, from the dealer to the next, it comes very fast, and that also causes some problems. It causes congestion of the supply chain, it causes inventory, it causes idle stock, it causes capital to be stuck in one place. All these problems come because the flow is very fast. So the flow velocity should not be at a very fast pace. It should be just at the right amount of speed. Flow efficiency is also a problem. Flow velocity is also a problem. So 2 things we took into consideration while doing this paper. So that's what we wrote here as hypothesis. See, better supply chain practices lead to better flow efficiency, which means your supply chain practices, your sustainable supply chain practices are the reason for these 2 flow efficiency and flow velocity. If both are working okay, then your supply chain will perform okay. See, the outcome is about supply chain performance. Supply chain practices lead to better flow efficiency, better flow velocity, and these 2 will lead to supply chain better performance. So that's the main outcome that we are focusing on in this paper. As you can see here, hypothesis number 3 says better supply chain flow efficiency leads to better supply chain performance. So performance of the supply chain is the outcome that we are aiming at. Better supply chain flow velocity leads to better supply chain performance. Okay, so this is the hypothesis. We went through literature to support our paper. So that will lead to few markets, few cases that we studied. I'll just show you some. Yes, in the morning I also discussed about this one, Goldratt's theory of constraints, that is impacting the supply chain. Constraints are there, which is the constraints are hindering the flow. So this is one theory we took into consideration. The objective, methodology. Now methodology, we used 2 methods. One was a more case-based approach, focus group approach, because in Bargur, we had to go family to family to arrive, to ask them about how this secondary supply chain is working. Okay, this is our conceptual model that I'm just putting to you on the screen. The conceptual model: supply chain practices, influences, flow velocity, and flow efficiency. Once that is there, then both of these, velocity and flow efficiency, will lead to better supply chain performance. Then overall business performance will improve. So this was the conceptual model that we are working on, and for this we had to go to the market. So this is the market that we took: Bargur textile market in Tamil Nadu, near Karnataka, that near Bangalore. We had Bargur. You see, if you, it's very interesting place. I don't know if you have gone there. All the IT people from Bangalore will come every Sunday to Bargur textile markets to purchase all branded items. You will find all branded items for just 350 rupees shirts. All branded shirts you will get there in the textile market. This entire market in Bargur is run by few families, one or two families. They are very closely knit. They never disclose their supply chain process. They never disclose their practices. We had to go and stay there and talk to them slowly to get information for doing this paper. And finally, we got some information into their, how they are getting this, and we put it into paper. And I have developed a flow chart for you to understand here, down here. Yeah, see, can you see here? I have given a flow chart here. From the manufacturers, it goes to the middlemen. These are usually agents or agencies. From the agents, it goes to the wholesaler or retailer, and down to the street market. So this is a secondary supply chain which goes to the street market, and how these branded products end up at the street market. Okay, let me go to another place which I want to introduce to you, which is in Karnataka. It's called Chickpet in Karnataka. Okay, so here, this is a very old secondary market. After Surat in Gujarat, this one, Chickpet in Karnataka, is a very old market. They're also dealing with the secondary supply chain products. So this is a case we have written about Chickpet. In Chickpet, it is like this: manufacturer to the agent or agency, almost similar in structure to the Bargur market. Manufacturer to the agent or agency, to the wholesaler retailer. So this is what they're doing. The third case that we took was Tirupur Kadarpet, and we have written about that. And there also, it is almost this. Kadarpet is also following the same format. So this seems to be the practice in the secondary supply chain market. So it is always the reverse supply chain. The products that are returned comes back to the manufacturer. The manufacturer sends it to the reprocessing unit, and from the reprocessing units, it is taken by agents and passed on to the wholesalers, and from there to the retailers in the secondary market, and end up at the street market. So this is the kind of a reverse supply chain, and which is feeding to the parallel secondary supply chain market. So that is how it is going, right? So here we spoke to many people there. I have given that in the case. So this is Kadarpet's market system, from the manufacturer to the stockist to the wholesaler. Okay, and there's one more line here. So this is how the flow diagram goes like. You can see the flow diagram: manufacturer to the reprocessing unit, to the agents, to the agencies, to the distributors, and from the distributors, the one who sells. All the retailers approach the distributors, and they take in bulk, in weight, tonnage, in kilograms and tons. They take it from the distributor. So there is a distributor in these places for the secondary market products. Okay, this market is very huge. Now you should not get confused. Even the people who are having white collar jobs prefer the products in these markets. These products are not only preferred by middle class, lower middle class, and the low class, but it's also preferred by the upper class also. You should understand that. The people who are having an intention for branded products also go to this market. They shop heavily from this market. Okay. So here we have contribution, and I will show you how the conceptual model that we developed, how it is the hypothesis has been tested. So this is the testing of the hypothesis. Okay, you can see here it has been tested. Each hypothesis has been tested. The beta values have been found out. The significant values have been found out. The R square values have been found out. So what we will do is we will do a small problem in a software. I will introduce you to a software. So this is the testing of the hypothesis, the p values, the beta values, the R square values. Okay, so this is the paper. So, and we come to the conclusion and references. So two papers I've just shown you. One is a conceptual paper. The other one is a empirical paper. Okay, so hold on. Before that, we need to what is a construct. So what is a construct? A variable. Most important things are variables, no? So we need to know what is a variable. Before we go into the software, I thought of introducing you to what is a variable, then we will go into the software. So let me take a white sheet here. Okay. So anybody knows what is a construct? It's a construct. Construct is usually a concept. A variable, it's a latent variable, a variable which you cannot explain directly. For example, let me draw a box here. Can you see the word sheet? MS Word file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's draw a box. Okay. Let's draw a box here. I'm just trying to help you understand how we can do this research and what is a construct, what are variables, what are sub variables, what are sub constructs, so that we can what are moderating variables, what are endogenous variables, exogenous variables, intervening variables, all these things. Okay, so this one here, this box here is what we call as a construct. Let me put in for example, let's say health. Okay, I'm going to put the name of this construct is called health. Why? Because you cannot explain health directly. Health is a construct. Any concept that any variable that you cannot explain directly is what we call as a construct. You can only explain it with a number of other sub variables. For example, health you cannot explain directly, but you can explain with the help of two other sub constructs. Okay, let me put the sub constructs here. Insert, I'll put two more boxes. I'll put two more boxes here. Okay, a small box here. Okay, and I'll put this box as physical health. Okay, physical health. Then I'll put one more box here. One more box here, and I'm going to call this as I'm going to call this box as mental health. Okay, so these two boxes are going to help me to understand the word health. So I'm put an arrow here, one more arrow, right? Okay, so I can understand the variable health with the two sub variables, physical health and mental health. Now, what is physical health? How can I understand physical health? What are the variables for me to understand physical health? So I'll put a lot of variables down here. Let me say I'll put here. Sorry. Okay, I'll put here. V1, V2, V3, V4, like this. And I want also to understand mental health. Okay, I want to have, okay, let's say physical health. How can I understand physical health? If I want to be physically fit, physically healthy, what should I do to understand physical health? For example, let's say blood pressure. Blood pressure. Let us say, what else? What else can I put? Blood pressure,
Sugar.
cholesterol, cholesterol. Anything else? Forget the spelling. Okay, cholesterol. Then
Blood sugar.
cholesterol level. Sugar. Very good. Blood sugar. Then what else? Blood pressure, cholesterol level, sugar. Then what? What else can I put to understand physical? If somebody is physically healthy, how do I? His body mass index, Leah.
Obesity.
BMI, obesity. Okay, obesity. Okay, then obesity. So this is all physical. So these are, see how many variables I have now. Variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, variable 4, variable 5. 5 variables I have taken from literature to understand physical health. If I understand physical health only, I can understand the larger construct, which is health. Okay. Now mental health. Let's see how many. I need a few variables to understand mental health. How can I? Okay. Fatigue. What else? Sorry, fatigue. Then mental health. If somebody is mentally healthy. Anxiety. Anxiety.
Stress.
Then
Strain.
stress. Stress. Very good. Stress. Stress. Anxiety. Sleeplessness. Okay. Sleepless or insomnia. That's the right word. Insomnia. Insomnia. So all this gives me a picture of the construct or variable mental health. Only if I know, if I have proper understanding of mental health and physical health, I can understand the larger construct, which is health. Now, for example, let's draw a model here now. Now we are not even going to supply chain. We are slowly going into supply chain. I'm just giving you an understanding of constructs so that we can go into supply chain. For example, let us say, I'll draw a construct here. Draw a construct here. Let us say this is, I'll put here, going to gym. Okay, one variable, going to the gym. Why we go for the gym? Okay, why we go for the gym?
Physical
Why we
fitness.
go for the gym? Very
Physical
good.
fitness.
To become healthy. Yeah, to become healthy, of course. To become healthy. So here, healthy. So to become healthy. Okay. To going to the gym makes you healthy. So here, insert. I'll put an arrow here. So we have a hypothesis here. We have a hypothesis. If you go to the gym, you become healthy. Okay, healthy. Now let us say I'm going to add a box here. I'm going to add a box here. Hold on. I'll just take it down to next page. Take it down to the next page. Okay, I'm going to add a box here. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call this box as music. Okay, music. Then I'm going to put an arrow here. Okay, I'm going to call this music as a moderating variable. That is, if I play music inside the gym, then I tend to exercise more. I tend to spend more time inside the gym because the music makes me spend more time in the gym. Therefore, if I spend more time inside the gym, then that I become more healthy. Okay, now you see my theory coming.
Yes.
I'm now theorizing. I'm theorizing. If I'm by going to gym, I become healthy. And if I play music, my music is in the gym. If I play more music in the gym, I tend to listen to music and do exercise more than the time stipulated to me. I tend to spend more time in the gym. If I spend more time in the gym, naturally I become healthy. So music acts as a moderator between these two variables, which is going to gym and healthy. Right? So this is what I mean by constructs, subconstructs, variables, moderating variables. Now let me go to the software. Let me stop sharing this. Now let's try to do a problem. Give me a minute before. Let me take the. Database. Okay. Okay. Can you see the Excel file? All of you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are some of the variables we are having here. See, fair division, fair div 2, fair div 3, fair div 4, fair div. So these are all variables which are trying to understand, trying to give us information about a construct called as fair division. Okay. Then here you can see fair prac 1, fair practice, fair practice 2, fair practice 3. These are all, there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 variables which are trying to explain fair practice, one construct. Then there is one more construct. See, trust 1, trust 2, trust 3. There are about 6 variables which are trying to explain to us a variable called as trust. Finally, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variables which are trying to explain another construct which is called as information flow. Okay, so how many constructs we are having now? Fair division, fair practice, trust, information flow. 4 constructs we are having. With these 4 constructs, let's try to build a model and let's test a model, right? Okay, I will stop share this. The software that we are going to use is PLS. Okay, now multiple regression, when you're testing 2 constructs, you normally use multiple regression because there are so many variables inside one construct and so many variables inside another 2 constructs. Okay, can you hear me? There was a breakage. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? There was a breakage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, now it's okay.
Okay, thank you. There are so many variables inside constructs. When you want to find the relationship between 2 constructs, you are going to use multivariate regression analysis, or we normally call as SEM, structural equation modeling or path model. Now, normally we do SEM using MOS. The other method we are using is PLS, partial least squares. The software for using partial least squares method is what we call as Smart PLS. Smart PLS. There is the upgraded version, which is called as Visual PLS. The software that I am going to use today is Warp PLS. Okay, WARP, Warp PLS. We are going to use to build our model and we are going to test our model. Okay, let's go. Okay, let me open the software. Let me see if I can open it. Screen share. Okay, are you able to see the software? No?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the name of the software is here. It's given at the top. Can you see Warp PLS 7.0? Okay, I'm proceeding to the software. Stop to sharing this window. Oh no, I don't know if I can share this. I can see it in my screen. I don't know if you can see it. Let me try. You have to tell me whether you can see or not, because I don't know whether you can see it or not.
Yes, sir. We are seeing.
We are seeing. Okay. Proceed to step 1. I'm going to step 1. I'm going to select the data file and put it into this. So let me go to the data file. Give me a minute before I load the software. It takes some time. Okay. Yeah. PSNA. Data file. Okay, I have a data set. Okay, stage 1, create project file. Okay. Yes. Okay. Step 2, read from file. Okay. So this takes some time. So, okay, it's loaded. It's now loaded, all the data. Okay, finish. Right. Give okay. Now the data looks like this, right? Yes. Okay, raw data has been now loaded. Now proceed to step 3. Step 3 is we are going to pre-process the data. What it will do is it will standardize the data. It will look for errors and everything. It will standardize the data and give us as a error-free data. So it's now standardizing. As you can see, it is now standardizing the data. Once it is done, it will stop. So data standardizing is done. Now we give OK. So the data looks good. Right. So we are ready now for doing step 4, which is to define the SEM model. Okay. Now let's do the SEM model. Now you remember we have 4 variables: fair division, fair practice, trust, and information flow. Now you tell me how we can develop, how we can design this model, and we can run this model and test it. Okay, let's first of all develop the variables, latent variables. Create latent variables. So I'm going to create here. I'm going to name the first one as fair division. FAIR, fair -div, fair division. Right, fair division. I'm going to add all the variables inside that construct. Right. So there are 4 variables which I've added. Can you see 4 variables inside the construct fair division? Once I'm done with that, I have to save it. Save the latent variable. So here in the screen, you can see in the screen, you can see fair division as the construct. Okay, we need one more construct. So let's go to again create latent variable. I want it here. And the name of the construct is fair practice. So FAIR fair underscore PRC practice. Okay. So all the variables which are going to explain fair practice, I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 variables are there. I have done it. Let me save the latent variable. So we have another variable. We have another variable which is fair practice. Let's go to creating the third latent variable. Okay. Right. And I'm going to call this one as information flow. INF information flow. So my variables are these. I'm going to add these. So 6 variables which are going to explain my information flow. Save the latent variable. So I have saved it, information flow. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep trust as the moderating variable, or I can keep trust before these two variables here. So I can move these two variables here. And I can create a theory that trust, if there is trust, then there will be fair division. If there is trust, there will be fair practice. If fair division and practice is there, then information flow will happen properly inside the supply chain. Okay, so we are going to create a theory like that. So I'm going to create a latent variable here. I'm going to call this as, yes.
Joshua, sir?
Yes.
So only the front screen is visible. That model is not visible, sir. We are
Model is
still
not
saying
visible.
that yes, sir. Project file only visible.
Oh. Okay, give me a minute. Now, what about now?
Not
The
yet,
same
sir.
front screen.
Not yet, only.
Yes, sir.
Now tell me if you can see the model.
Yes.
Now it's
No?
visible.
Huh? Now it's
Yes, sir.
visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I have three constructs here. And I'm going to bring the fourth construct. Okay. Maybe because it is screen by screen, maybe the Zoom is not able to pick it up. Okay, we will see. Now I'm going to add one more variable. Trust. Add all the variables. Save. Trust. Are you able to see 4 variables now? 4
Yes, sir.
constructs.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Trust, fair practice, fair division. So now let us build our theory. Now we have the theory ready. I'm saying what I'm proposing is, if there is trust within the members, then there will be fair division. Then there will be fair practice. If these two are there, that will lead to information flow. So this is our theory. So I'm going to add links to it, create direct links from between these two. Okay. Then I'm going to add links to these. Are you able to see the links?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. Okay, I'm going to add one more link here between this and this. And I'm going to add one more link between this and this. Done. This is our theory. Our theory is ready. Now let's run the model. Model, save. Okay, save the model. Okay. Oh, no. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, I'm going to share screen again. It's going to go to step 5, which is perform the SIM analysis. Can you see this screen? Oh, again, it's gone. So it has run the model, and the output is this. Can you see? Can you
Yes,
see
sir.
the output?
We got it.
Yeah, okay, got it. So the p-values is the significance value, same thing that you have in SPSS. P-value less than 0.05, that is significant. So we can see that this one is less than 0.01. So therefore, this relationship is significant. The beta value is 0.42. Beta value is similar to that of the R value, correlation value. Therefore, yes, there seems to be relationship between trust and fair division. Here also the significance p-value is less than 0.1. Therefore, this is also significant, and almost all the arrows are significant. Hypotheses are significant, and the R square value is 0.22. Now here is where the problem lies, because R square value less than 0.50, I would say, is not a very good model. It's not a very good model. Y is equal to A plus beta x1 plus beta x2 plus beta x3 E. Okay, E is the error term. Normally, E is the error term. Error means unexplained part. Here we see that the unexplained part seems to be more, and the explained part seems to be less. That's why your R square value is about only 22%, which means nearly 78% is in the error part, which is in the unexplained part, which means your theory is not very good. Your theory is not very good. It's not a very strong theory. Okay. And we can, what we can do is, we'll try to put trust as the moderating variable and see, we'll run the entire SEM once again. So what I'll do is, I will close this window and go back. Go back here. I'll go to step 4 again. Define SEM. We already have this. Now, can you see this 4?
Yes, sir.
This 4 you can see. Okay. I am going to remove this. Delete links. I'm going to delete this link. I'm going to delete this link also. I'm going to delete this link. I'm going to bring trust here. Okay. And I'm going to make trust as the moderating variable. I'm going to make trust as the moderating variable. So create a moderating link between trust and this one. So we have a moderating link here. Now, after this, let's run and see whether it is running or not. Okay. Okay. Proceed to step 5, perform SEM analysis. Right. Are you able to see the output?
No, sir. No.
No, you're not able to see the output. Okay. 1 minute. Share. Now, can you see the output?
Yes, sir. Now I can.
Now see, you can see the moderating variable of trust. What trust has done? It has either increased, whether trust has increased the relationship between these two or decreased the relationship between these two. So this is the moderating variable. You can even view the results like this. See, for example, here you will get general results of the entire. You can even draw a graph on this. Loadings, cross loadings, linear plots. Okay. Are you able to see this graph?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. Okay. So this graph, which I drew right now, gives you a picture. See, can you see? This is a 3D graph.
Okay, fine, sir. Fine.
This is a 3D graph. This is a 3D graph. See, you can see fair practice. As fair practice increases, the information flow also increases. So here we have the moderating variable trust. So that is why you see, the more trust you have, the better is the information flow. That is why this 3D graph, you can see this mountain side here, this area, like this. So this is how we do, modeling. Let me stop share here. So there are a lot of softwares for doing sampling. There is a lot of softwares. The one software that we can use for sampling is a software called as G^3 that we normally use. It's called as a power analysis software. I can show you. I think my time has already crossed 3:45 now. What I'll do is I'll just take 5 minutes to explain to you how we can use the G^3 software. Right? Just for your interest sake. Okay, let me open the. Okay, share screen. Share. Okay, can you see this? This is the G^3 software for testing the sample size. There are two ways to find out the sample size. Now here, the type of power analysis. Power analysis is, see, here you have something called as alpha and 1 minus beta. 1 minus beta means accepting the probability of accepting the right hypothesis, and the probability of rejecting the wrong hypothesis. So here alpha and 1 minus beta. So this is the power analysis where you use, and there are two types of tests you can perform. See, normally when you go for sample collection, we try to arrive at a number, then we try to go for sample collection. How many samples I should collect? Or in another case, we collect the samples and we try to see whether the samples that we collected are enough to prove the theory. There are two ways of doing it. So therefore, this test is called a priori test. You can see here type of the power analysis. It's called a priori test, which means prior to doing the much should be your sample size, right? Say you want to do, let us say you want to do ANOVA test. Okay, you want to do an ANOVA test. And you want to do here, there are some ANOVA, MANOVA, and all these tests are there. Here I want to do one-way ANOVA. Here, one-way ANOVA. And this is the number of groups, number of independent variables, the categorical variables on dependent variable. Okay, number of independent variables, and I can find the sample size. Just click on calculate. Here it gives you the result. See, total sample size is 305 samples if you want to do ANOVA. The power of the test, I can reduce it, effect size. Normally for humanities research, medium should be okay. Medium size should be okay. Large size, medium size, depends on the accuracy level and the volume of the research that you're doing. You can alter your effect size according to that. You can even draw plots, and so on. Okay, this is how you do it. You can do any test you want. F test, chi-square test. For chi-square test, the calculated value would be 220. 220 would be a sample size. So this one will give you a protocol. So like this, you can do n number of tests. This is how we do sample test. Okay, stop share this. So this is few things I just wanted to share for you. It will help you in your research. There is a lot of softwares. Even there are softwares for referencing, for citation. Maybe in another day, another research conference, we will discuss about that. But it's enough for today. Too much of research is also not good. That too in an afternoon session. So this is more than enough. So supply chain research, how we can study supply chain from the angle of research. How each variable has to be studied, how each variable has to be tested, what are the moderating variables, what are the antecedents of a particular concept, what is the outcome of the particular concept, how to build your theory. All this has to be taken into consideration for when you're going for your publication of your paper on supply chain. Okay, so with that, I will end this session. I'll hand it over to Dr. Sabarirajan to take over. Yes, Sabri, take over, please.
Thank you for the wonderful session, sir. And I invite Dr. Venkateshwaran to deliver thanks.
Thank you, Sabri. Dr. Joshua, before winding up, I have a question.
Yeah.
Sir, when we are publishing our paper in Scopus, sometimes that paper is accepted and we got some citations. After a particular, every year Scopus is, they are upgrading or they are rejuvenating and they are removing certain journals. So what is happening to our citations?
What is happening to our citations?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Normally we are losing it when we are going for Google Scholar or Scopus index itself. Our total number of citation comes down when this journal is removed from Scopus.
No, papers tend to go into the index, tend to come out of the index, depending upon their quality levels, their relationship with that particular index. Now, as you know, there are so many indexes: Thomson's Reuters, Scopus index. Then each university has their own Emerald database. and you have Elsevier databases, Sage databases, Wiley's database. There are so many databases. Some of the major databases that are considered for recognition, especially in the academic community, is Scopus. Especially in India, we consider Scopus. There is one more database which you can think of, which is ABDC, Australian Business Deans Conference, which is very much used for accreditations. Which is very standard index.
Yes, sir.
Now, many of these papers goes into these indexes, and they may not be there for a very long time, depending on their quality, on their it's a big racket. No doubt about it. It's a big racket. It is
Yes, sir.
between the journal editors and that particular database, the people who are running the database. It's a nexus between them to make money, no doubt about it. Yeah, as you know that many of these articles to be published in papers cost you hell lot of money.
Yes, sir.
If I am correct, starting price from 40,000 rupees onwards.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that questions your article also. That questions, whether your article is really good or not.
Yes.
So is it all paid? Next question comes. Can we only publish only if you pay that much? Next question comes. But citation will remain the same whether the journal goes inside or not. At a particular period of time, the citation is calculated. For example, last 5 years, when the journal was in the index and it is cited by somebody, that is taken into consideration, irrespective of whether the journal is still inside there or it has come out or not. We don't worry about it. At that point of time, last 5 years, the journal was inside the index, and that citation is counted. There's no mistake about that. This is how H index and all these things have been calculated, as you know. But no, not much. No journal you can say will be there for a very long time. It keeps
Yes,
going
sir.
and
Yes,
out
sir.
and in. It is even Anna University. I think you should be knowing by now that Anna University journal, they also are following certain indexes.
Yes, sir.
They're also
Sounds
following
good.
certain
Yes. Yes.
list,
Sir.
and when we publish in that list, is immediately they take it out. When
It-
100 people publish, when
Yes, sir.
100 people publish in the same paper, and they see 100 people publish, they think it is easy. They think that it is easily can be bought, and they remove it.
Yes, sir.
So it is a racket. I would say publication is a racket. Recently, I met a few journal editors in the NASME conference. It's a marketing conference conducted by leading journals and editors like Jagdish Sheth and big names in the area of publishing. This happened in Haryana, in Sonipet, in Jindal Global School of Business. I happened to visit there recently, and when I was talking to some of these editors, I asked them the same question that you asked me. Sir, what happens? Why you certain journals are there for some time, then you take it out, the new journals come inside, uh, and it looks like and it's very difficult for us to publish in these indexes. Uh, Unless you know these editors, unless you know this group, it's a closely knit group. You whatever you do, whatever quality of journal publication that you make will not be considered.
Yes, sir.
So it is the relationship that is more important than the actual quality of the paper itself. That is the sad truth about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is a relationship with the journal editor. Okay, yes, go ahead.
Sir, that's a very nice answer, sir. So one more question related with the same Anna University. So some of our scholars are in the verge of completing their thesis, but still they can't get an Annexure 1 paper. Anna University is called Annexure 1 or Thomson Reuters.
Annexure 1.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Previously it was called Annexure 1, Annexure 2, but there is now only one Annexure.
Yes, sir. Sir, can you suggest some journals which is easy for them to publish their papers?
Okay. Previously, there were three journals which were easy to be published. Many scholars published there, but they removed those journals. Every year they keep revamping. This is the
Yes, sir.
question we ask Anna University people also. One journal is Life Science Journal, which they took it out. It's about 60,000 rupees. Okay, the other one is Asian Journal of Humanities and Science. That also they removed.
Yes, sir.
Many
30,000.
of
Sir.
30,000. No, that was much cheaper. 3,200 rupees. They removed that also.
Okay.
Okay, now few journals are there, which okay. There is one journal called as try this, transformations in economics and business. Transformations in economics and business. It is in the Anna University annexure. It is a journal that is published by a Lithuanian university.
Okay.
Now this doesn't come under Elsevier, or it doesn't come under Emerald or Sage. It is published by a individual university.
Super, sir.
So when you target journals which are published by universities, there is a chance of getting inside.
Sir, it's a paid journal or free, sir?
Anything inside the Anna University list is a paid journal. There is no such thing as non-paid journal inside Anna University. If somebody is saying that, they're lying.
God. Okay. Sir, Anna, you are seriously saying?
I am seriously saying yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, I am really
the article that I showed you right now.
Yes, sir. It's a
That
Czech
one.
public.
Yes,
Public,
yes. Yes, it's a Czech publication, Romanian publication.
Okay, sir. Sir, that is an easiest one or easy one?
No. It went for 4 reviews.
Okay.
The final review, it was sent to Malaysia. Then only they accepted it.
The problem is scholars are preparing their thesis within 1 or 2 years, but for preparing a journal, they are taking 4 years, 5 years.
So first our concentration should be on the journal publication.
Yes, sir,
that is why I tell all my scholars first to concentrate on the journal publication. Try to get acceptance for one journal, keep another journal for backup. In case they remove the journal next year, you have another journal as a backup journal.
So from
that is why I showed you.
From 2017 and later, the students has to publish 2 Anna University annexed journal. So
No,
again,
only for guideship it is 2.
No, guideship they are having different categories. Professor 5 journals, associate professor 3, assistant professor 2. For students, 2017 later, they are having 2 journals. They have to publish.
I didn't know that because
they changed it. Yes.
Because next week my scholar is going to do Viva.
They may be registered before that period.
After registration. Okay.
Yes, registration. Yes, sir.
Okay, maybe they would have changed the guidelines.
Yes, sir. It is a new guidelines, so they have to go for 2 papers.
Every year they change without any logic. I even asked the panel who are deciding this. They don't have any answer.
So you gave already the answer. It's a payment, money, everything.
It's a racket. That's the answer. It's a racket. Money racket. That's all. Nothing can be done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, so okay, we can go for official vote of thanks, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Really, thank you very much. It's a wonderful time. You shared a day with us. You gave a lot of insights related with supply chain management as well as research perspective. So I would like to thank on behalf of management, PSNECT, and on behalf of myself. It's a really wonderful day. Thank you very much. Before winding up, I have a same request because I also having same type of STTP program from November 23rd to December 2nd week. So I am personally inviting. This is a friendly invitation. Now you are going to be guest for my 2 programs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
I would like to be. I would like to be participant.
No, sir. You are going to give a lecture on marketing management. So that is the topic. It's not supply chain management. It's a marketing management.
Okay.
So officially, I will invite later, sir. Okay, sir.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for your invitation. Thank you for all the participants for their patient listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joshua,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shopin.